We'll see. Next up this week, Bungie has really, I think, surprised the gaming world, and the Destiny community is still
in shambles,
reeling from this, and understandably so. I mean,
yeah,
Destiny 2 has been it has been a comfort game. It has been the hang out with your friends game. It has been a phenomenal game for over a decade, and it is over. The game's not being shut down, but new content updates are ending. So June 9th, that's coming right up.
Yep.
In what, 2 weeks from today? Or anyway, it's about 2 weeks away. Will be the final content update. The game, again, will remain playable. But Bungie issued the following statement, which I'll read to you, and then I'll get reactions from the both of you. Bungie said, "For almost 12 years, we've had the joy and honor to explore the Destiny universe with you all. Through all the ups and downs, surprises and triumphs, building Destiny alongside our players has been a monumental privilege. While our love for Destiny 2 has not changed, it has become clear that after the final shape, we have reached the time for our shared worlds and Destiny to live beyond Destiny 2. As our focus turns toward a new beginning for Bungie, we will begin work incubating our next games. To that end, on June 9, 2026, we will release the final live service content update for Destiny 2 to begin that new journey as a studio. Though active development may be concluding, we will ensure that Destiny 2 remains playable just as the original Destiny is today. Many changes in this final update will aim to ensure that Destiny 2 is a welcoming place for players to return to. We're proud of Destiny 2, the places it took us, and the legacy it has created. Because of you all, our universe is vast, built on years of shared stories, adventures, and victories. From the Cosmodrome to the Pale Heart to the Lawless Frontier, we have forged lifelong memories and friendships with you all. We are incredibly grateful to everyone who made that journey with us. From the deepest part of our hearts, thank you, and we'll see you in the stars," which is the same message that they left Halo with at the end of Halo Reach, if you remember back to the credits, the closing credits on that game.
Damn.
So this begs the question, what's next for Bungie? Miranda, I want to start with you on this, because this is one of the probably 10 premier, most at least famous and most sort of beloved studios in the industry. And this is quite the crossroads they find themselves at now.
Yeah, so I don't think people necessarily think of me as a Destiny person. I'm a Destiny light person. I definitely head back in for the big expansions. I spend a lot of time. I've been playing actually a lot recently because my friends and I were we never got to play Renegades. It was really busy. It's time. So we've been playing a ton lately. And then this news hit. We're what? Yeah. I mean, some people will say, of course, the writing was on the walls. There's a lot of issues in game right now. There's a lot of bugs. You can tell that obviously after Final Shape, when they started shifting resources really heavily to Marathon and also laying a lot of people off, it's just how can you maintain the quality of this game with the expectations that you set from Final Shape, which was huge, phenomenal expansion. It was man, that hit. How can you maintain that after you lose a ton of your team and then also to layoffs and again, another game? So I think there was a lot of concern from the Destiny community after that and has just continued to be concerned and now just super disappointed. I think the way this news went out too, just from the context we have, that a lot of people apparently didn't know this was happening at the studio, which is also just heartbreaking for them to find out along with everybody else. It's that's awful. That's apparently they were working on stuff and now it's nope, not doing that. So it's okay. And of course they've also mentioned, I think it was the report from Bloomberg that said that layoffs are going to come after this as well, of course, which is terrible. So I think this whole thing is just really disappointing because I don't know what they expected after Final Shape. It's hey, look, this is great, but now we're going to take away all your resources and expect you to make the same quality of a game, That's just not possible. It's not feasible. So I think for a lot of people like myself who were hanging on with Renegades and other stuff, we're just kind of hoping it would get some more support after Marathon launched and kind of found its footing. But they did the opposite, which is we're moving on from Destiny, which is are you guys, what is wrong with you? Yeah. I don't understand. I think there's just a lot of concern, and has been a lot of concern about Bungie leadership for quite a while at this point. As for where they go next, I have no idea. What is Sony possibly going to put them on? Like, at this point, I'm kind of worried that Sony's going to start just, part of the contractual part. If they didn't meet certain standards, like, they're going to get put into the fold. They're not, like, autonomous anymore. They have to, like, start, doing what Sony wants. And, like, what could they possibly do there, right? Like, put them on Killzone? Like, no, it's not going to be something like that or anything that exists. But I also don't see Sony being like, let's try another new IP or something. Like, I just don't understand what could possibly next. And they said, like, Destiny 3 is not in development. Like, they're still looking at other things that are Destiny adjacent, but not necessarily it. So,
Put Bungie on Killzone and put id Software on Halo. And let's do all this. Let's do a round 2.
There you go.
This is like fantasy draft.
Just make things pure chaos. I don't know. I'm really disheartened, I guess, and concerned about like Bungie's future for sure. Yeah. Like, because this is just
you raise a very fair point. And Michael, let me get your thoughts on here.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Destiny 2 player, but I was in on the ground level when that first launched. I remember how exciting everything was in the GameSpot offices in 2017 when this game hit, and how we were all collectively playing and running the first raid in the office too, like booking a whole conference room to set up all of our PS4s and running the content in Destiny 2. And like, I've dipped in and out over the years. And like, when I was at Fanbyte, Destiny 2 and Final Fantasy 14, which I was in charge of covering, carried our site because the player base was strong and there's just a lot of interesting content to dig through and things to figure out. And when you think about not just Destiny's success and how it positioned Bungie, but the way it has influenced the way games are made and how live service games, for better and maybe worse, how live service games are thought about and how they're structured. It's like had a tremendous influence over the years, even dating back to Destiny 1, which I thought was like a fine game. But when 2 came out, I was like, oh, okay, this is like the fully realized version of it. I think Taken King, the expansion for Destiny 1, was like, oh, okay, they figured it out. 2 came out and they're like, all right, this is the game for the foreseeable future. Again, though, 9-10 years of this game's relevance is like, that's crazy to think about. That's a tremendous, that's a generational run. But when you think about games like this, sometimes the expectation is to be the forever game. I think Final Shape was like a great, like last expansion, I guess. Well, it would be the last expansion now that we know this. It's just like, yeah, what do you do with a game that is this large, with this much reputation, with fewer resources and higher expectations? It's an impossible task. And I think they probably look at this and, you know what, it's best to lay it to rest, let it be what it is now. And it's almost, there's just so much in Destiny 2. Like, a lot of players complain about like all the vaulted content. Are we going to be able to access vaulted content? And that was a conversation for a long time. And it's just like, that speaks to just how big this game has gotten. And at some point, I guess you want to move on. Maybe it was a little expected. I mean, it was unexpected from certain perspectives, but at a certain point, you're like, yeah, of course it's going to end at some point. That's still like a tough pill to swallow. You're like, damn, it feels like it hasn't been that long. It's been around, even though it has been around for that long. So
now, Michael, let me ask you, because you came out of the gate swinging with Marathon. You were having a great time with it. What is your just personal take on the longevity of Marathon? Now, it's impossible to predict with 100% accuracy because things change for good or bad. But like, what is your sense on Marathon carrying the torch here, as Bungie, by their own words, said that we will begin work incubating. So that sounds like they're really early in the process on anything. So yeah, what do you make of Marathon having to kind of be the game for Bungie for a while?
Yeah, man, that's tough. That's a lot. It's a lot of pressure to put on Marathon that maybe it was not prepared to handle, or was never built to necessarily handle that kind of pressure to be the number one game for a company that is as big as, or for a developer as big as Bungie, and for a platform, for first party platform as big as PlayStation. So I think there's the pressures on, and like the stories that come out of like Sony spent a lot of money to get Bungie, and Marathon isn't making up the difference, nowhere near making up the difference. And you kind of, I maybe that was expected. I love Marathon.
How would that be a surprise? Yeah. Like,
yeah, I know. Like, exactly. Like, you should have saw this coming. The scale, the type of game that Marathon is, like, I don't think it scales in the way that a PlayStation would want it or would need it to scale for it to make financial sense. And that's unfortunate because I said on this podcast at the time, Marathon was my game of the year. It's still in my top 3 of the year. I think this game is absolutely fantastic, but I do think that if it is going to be a bigger success for them, or a success that they want, it has to fundamentally change. Season 2 is coming out in a couple weeks, and it's not fundamentally changing what that game is, but it is incorporating a lot of new ideas. That's not necessarily going to help it reach critical mass in the way that they might want. But I think I have no basis on this, but if they want to stick with Marathon, if they want this to have a longer tail, they need to add more to it to reach a bigger audience. I love what that game is, but success financially and whether or not a game is like great are kind of 2 different conversations. So I don't know. I think they would have to add something to Marathon that is fundamentally different, or whatever they're incubating for the future has to be at least on the level of success of Destiny, and that's almost that's an impossible task, man. So, but you know how PlayStation treats their studios, man.
I looked it up to double check. $3.6 billion that Sony paid for Bungie. That is
no one game can
crazy.
Take that. Like that's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, how does that become, without Destiny continuing to make money? How do the numbers work there?
Yeah, you can't square the math. Well, I
want to say, first of all, I mean, Bungie deserves, for all the leadership issues they've had and a lot of sort of toxic workplace stuff.
Yeah.
As creative developers, as talented people, boy, do they get a lot of credit for doing something that is increasingly difficult as time goes on in the games industry, or for that matter, these days in the entire entertainment industry, which is successfully building a new IP. Mm-hmm. Like Destiny, these guys came off of Halo, at the time, one of the 5 biggest franchises on the planet in terms of video games, and they went and built something completely new. And they wrote the playbook for a live service game. And as you were saying, Michael, like super influential for good or bad. Mm-hmm. So they get a ton of credit for actually succeeding in a world that really doesn't. It's a real uphill battle for new things to reach mega success. But like you were saying, Miranda, you half jokingly said, "Oh, we'll give him Killzone," but I know again you're not like literally saying that should happen, but if you're Sony, even if you think, hey, maybe that's kind of a good idea because Guerrilla is busy with the other new franchise they created, Horizon, but the problem with that is you bought Bungie for all that money because they were going to be a live service cash cow for you. And if they were to spend, let's just say 4 or 5 years rebooting Killzone, and it's a single player game, maybe with traditional multiplayer, like that's not going to generate the return on that $3.6 billion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know where this leaves Sony, where this leaves Bungie. I'm not suggesting that they're going to get shut down. I mean, unfortunately, with the way the world is, I don't think we can rule it out, which really sucks.
I don't think they would, but
yeah, like,
man, I don't think PlayStation wants to have the badge of dishonor of like, we bought something for $3 billion some dollars and we shut it down. Like you can't, oh my God, that is Sounds like
I don't know, man.
Dude.
They launched Concord and killed it like 2 weeks later. Yeah. I know the stakes are a little different, but I don't know if they're necessarily afraid of negative public perception. Sure. When they're really just looking at their bottom line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I want Bungie to do well because I really think they are one of the premier developers in our industry, and I want to see something new and cool from them. But if they get that opportunity, it sounds like it's many years away. So I don't know what's going to happen in the meantime, but we'll see. It is a weird, sad day that the Destiny is not going to be supported with new content any longer. Thanks for checking out this clip from Unlocked, IGN's weekly Xbox show. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to watch the full episode at youtube.com/IGN Games. New episodes of Unlocked drop every Thursday on IGN Games, IGN.com, and your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.